The barkeep is a long way from Black Marsh, isn't he? Dreekius is his name?
That's right, and it's kept me good company in my wait for you. Trust it well after I leave, for it knows this island and all who live here. But don't bother asking about the eye, because I already have.
Dreekius knows of the Eye of Argonia?
It's got the skin for it, wouldn't you say? I'll find the thing yet, and before you, if I get my way.
Another soft skin with dreams of the priceless king's jewel of ancient Black Marsh. You look this sort too, all sword and swagger. Tobias, he describes you well.
Aye, but Cyrus here must save that adventure for another day. He's got a sister to find. I've told him that you will help him after I depart, Lizard. So mark me well.
Whatever you say.
Do you think Azara chose sides in the Civil War, and that is why she has disappeared?
Your family's always been partisan, lad, since your early days in Sentinel. I ventured she still held her old allegiances, even if you haven't. Few crowns in Stros Mackay survived a battle with the Imperials, but I know Azara was one of them.
How?
Hearing of the defeat of the crowns caused me much concern. When I arrived, I searched for word of Azara's safety. The only ones here who knew of her said that she had disappeared shortly after the Imperials landed.
I see the harbor is already arrayed in the flags of the Emperor, and that his men walk the streets as if born to them.
Stros Mackay's a dangerous port these days. There's an empire to be built, you know, and Tiber Septim shows no sign of slowing its increase from here to the edge of the world map. High Rock's border kings bent knee to the Cyrodiil long ago. Even my father's fair Skyrim is adorned with flags of red dragons and foreign men. We are entering a new era, I fear, with Septim's name writ long and wide upon it.
Any kind words for our new Emperor?
He is good at what he does, and sees the holes lesser men leave wide. No offense to your Prince Ator, of course.
Hammerfell's problems are her own. I was only asking if Septim was the tyrant they say.
Of course he is. Tyranny means never having to say you're sorry. But Azara's fate has nothing to do with the Emperor, I'm sure. Look to the Provisional Governor if you suspect Imperial entanglements. He's the real tyrant around here. How long were you in Wayrest, Cyrus?
Long enough to piss off the locals.
A bay ride from Sentinel. Close enough for you to hear about Prince Ator, then.
Yes, of late the criers are tripping over each other. There's so much to report of the blistery sound.
And you've listened to it all, I'm sure.
Fine, recount all word of Prince Ator that I have shamefully ignored.
When his father died and the capital of Sentinel was taken over by the Forebears, the prince fled back here to his ancestral home of Stros Mackay. After rallying the crowns to his stead, he made for the throne again and had it near. That's when the Empire came. Through a forebear truce which no one expected. Again the prince was forced back to Stros Mackay, which he died defending. He will not long be forgotten. Lizard, another drink?
What were the terms of the Forebear Truce?
Originally, the Empire was to lend its armies to the Forebear cause in return for a swath of holding titles along the southeast border. But when Baron Volag disappeared during the arse end of the war, all bets were off. A new treaty was formed, which garrisoned those Imperial armies in the cities.
Until such a time as the native rulership can see fit to reinstate itself safely on its rightful throne.
Something like that, yes, sir. Septim's no Cyrodiil from what I've heard, though he rules their remnants and rebuilds their empire. He's something worse, or greater, depending on your disposition to the center, son.
If he has no blood tie to the Cyrodiil throne, then how did he make it his?
Come on! For the last 400 years, the petty kings of Cyrodiil have been squabbling over the title of Emperor, all claiming forebearance. Imperial throne's blood's thinner than a sea dream and half as wet. Tiber Septim took the throne as he took your people's.
Hail the new conqueror.
There's a good little subject.
You used to hire out to those petty kings, did you not?
20 years ago, maybe, when the whole heart of Tamriel was in chaos. I could admire Tiber Septim insofar that he has managed to consolidate the rags and tatters that bickered there then.
No empire is a good thing, Captain.
There's a Redguard for you.
So the Nord kings have submitted to Tiber Septim too.
They do not worry over much. They have outlasted empires before, and this conquest will be no different. Hammerfell has been the bloodiest invasion of current record, and by comparison, Skyrim's occupation seemed like a ballet.
Do you know if Azara fought in the Battle of Stros M'Kai?
My investigations were limited, I'll admit. If she fought, I can't say. But I would guess that she did. The battle was the penultra of the crowns, and all who subscribed to the name no doubt took up arms. While most of them were slain at sea, others have been taken prisoner by the governor.
Tell me about the provisional governor, Captain.
When I arrived, his soldiers showed me the finer points of Richten's new docking tax and scoured my ship for leaguesmen. I must say he's a bit of an asshole. You'd better watch yourself around him.
So why aren't you in jail?
Meaning why aren't said soldiers in little boxes at the foot of the palace gate? Because I didn't come to port to get myself in trouble, but to get your sister out.
Should I look into seeing this governor then?
That's where I'd look, laddie.
Could she be in jail?
I haven't exactly knocked on the door to find out. That's your job now. But I know the jail's off limits to non-Imperials. Now, read no visitors whatsoever.
We'll see about that. Imperial expansion has been feared for years. Why wasn't Hammerfell better prepared?
Factional squabbles, divided councils, miscalculations. Crowns lost heart when they lost the capital. Forebears lost their heads completely when they welcomed the Empire's friendship and aid.
So the Empire played the forebears pretty well, eh?
What else is a visionary with an open invitation to do? The forebears are having futile second thoughts now, no doubt. Probably why they're so bitter and driven to bar brawls.
What of the crowns?
Not too many left around here. The few that are don't admit it to just anyone. Talk to Siona, a friend of mine. You may have seen her down by the docks. Tell her I sent you, so she'll know you're no Imperial stoolie. She may be able to help you.
How have the forebears fared under Septim's rule?
The throne of Sentinel is kept warm by another Imperial governor. That should be indication enough.
How is the city of Sentinel? I never returned.
For long my men plied the Iliac, and Sentinel was along the run. That's how I came to know that Izara moved from there to here. I kept up with her for your sake. If even it were a dream to think anything would come of it. When Volag's purge ignited through the north, I went there seeking to help her. But she was already gone. Later, I learned she'd come to Stros M'Kai.
What was Volag's purge?
When Thasad died, Baron Volag led the forebears into an uprising for control of the capital. All crowns were forced to leave Sentinel after that first massacre. Your sister was among those that followed the prince here to Stros Mackay to plan the counterattack. I swear, Cyrus, are you always such a lame brain when it comes to word of recent Hammerfell?
I've come to cultivate a certain indifference about the homeland.
And this is a good thing.
So his character is in question. Again.
She was your sister, Cyrus.
I was probably miles away.
A proximity often and on purpose, I'd suspect. Yeah, well, you're here now.
Facade II, so storied in song, it was unwise to invest the Republic on one man.
The forebears are over there, Cyrus, if you want the company to match the sentiment.
No, it's just... I mean, he was dying when I was still a young kid. We Redguards were only waiting for it to happen. My father kept his profession in one hand and a whetstone in the other. We knew that civil war would come. If Facade was so great, why didn't he do more in his life to protect the kingdom after his death?
Some things have to be left for the son.
The head of the Forebears is a subject of the Empire now.
Or subject to the Empire's execution, from spake of it. He disappeared the day Stros Mackay was taken, and Sentinel lay in a similar state. Provisional governors rule both cities now.
Captain, what do you know about the smuggler's den?
Knaves that aren't worth my cargo. You should forget about them.
I see. I'll be back. If you're not here, thanks for everything. And good luck.
Just find your sister and get out of here. And send word through Sratra. Go on, you'll do fine.
What will it be, traveler?